to break up with self-sacrifice and guilt and emotional frustration. We are so blessed in the Healing is Possible hot seat today to have world-renowned intuitive healer and energy worker Jennifer Norton with us. I'm Rebecca Silence, creator of Healing is Possible. Every week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. Mountain, you can join me in the hot seat where it does get hot, it does get sticky. I do ask provocative questions, and I do bring in amazing healers and volunteers that are ready to break through and support us all in our healing. So with that being said, welcome Jennifer to the hot seat.
Ooh, thanks. I'm feeling warm.
Me too. So grateful to have you here. Tell us what called you to the hot seat.
Well, you and I were talking about things, and I just felt like it would be such a real blessing for me to get to know your community a little bit, connect with you and your community more, and so here we are.
Tell us what healing means to you. You've really devoted your life to supporting people in their healing physically, energetically, spiritually. Talk to us about what healing means to you.
Healing for me, for anyone that I know, it's about an end of suffering, right? To me, it's like the end of suffering. I guess my dharma has been no more suffering. And so if that means the end of emotional pain, physical pain, illness, that's what I'm all about. Because it's like life is too precious to be waylaid by all of that, right? Even, and I've gone through it all. I have had it all, illness and depression and you name it, health challenges. But on the other side of that, it was like, no more suffering. There's got to be a way beyond that so that we can just really live in more harmony with nature, with ourselves, with life.
And tell us about miracles you've seen or experienced. I mean, I'm sure there are people watching that are saying, that sounds great. No suffering, no guilt, no pain, but is that even possible?
Yeah, it is possible. It does take a certain amount of devotion to, making decisions, right, that are about saying no to the allowing guilt to run your life or make decisions for you. It's about recognizing the patterns that are unhealthy that are running you and going, okay, no more. And how do I go beyond this, right? So that takes a certain amount of internal kind of self-reflection, right? So if we're too busy doing and not taking some time to self-reflect, then it's going to be hard to really get to that place of healing, right? Because we're kind of focusing on what's outside of us for answers. And what I have learned is that all of these answers are really within us. Within our body. Our bodies are really magical,
Yeah.
but we've been taught to believe that we need these things outside of us to make the body work. Actually, what I love, A Course in Miracles teaches this as well, and as I think some other people are teaching this, that the body can take care of itself. Like if anything, we're just getting in the way, right? We're not trusting. We're not trusting and allowing the body to function in the way it ought to sometimes. And that's what I love about homeopathy, which is another area I've studied for, gosh, at least 15 years. But in homeopathy, the principle is like is curing like. The poison that's killing you is actually the thing that can to help you. So in homeopathy, it's taking like an infinitesimal amount of that poison, say like a poison nut seed, right? And then it's taking the energetic imprint of that and putting it into these pellets. And then you put it in your under your tongue and it's stimulating your own body's vital force. It's like giving it a set of instructions that says, oh, bring the healing here, bring it to the liver or bring it to the sinuses or whatever it is that you've got going on. So to me, there's so many tools for helping us kind of heal, it's not just things outside of us, but it starts with mindset, I think, right? It's always about our mindset. And then having a little bit of faith. I mean, even if, and that's something I've struggled with, really. Actually, the funniest thing was like, even though I could hear, spiritual guidance and wisdom and angels and guides in my own inner voice pretty clearly, there was still like this part of me that didn't always like have the faith. But
Yeah.
just a little bit of faith will go a really long way. That's what I can say.
I love what you're saying. And to me, the suffering is the gateway to the healing. And it's about being willing to lean into it. And I think that's where the faith comes in, right? If I have faith that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, there is healing that is possible on the other side of this suffering, whatever it is, then that's how you withstand the storm as long as the storm is going on. I don't think we know when that miracle of healing moment will happen. But to me, faith is about believing that it is coming and knowing that healing is possible. And the only way to access the healing, what you're saying is you've got to start with the suffering and you've got to be willing to reflect and connect to it, or it holds you hostage.
Yeah, and with that too, the more resistance we have to this, whatever the suffering is, like it could be a broken arm in it, or it could be a sniffle, right? But the more we're into the, I don't like this and I don't want this, the more we're like making it worse, really.
Yeah.
It just makes it persist, and so the more we can just allow it, right? We don't have to like it. We can say, okay, I don't like the way I feel. I don't, maybe you've got brain fog or something worse, right? And it's like, I don't like the way I feel. I can admit that, but I'm going to just allow this to be what it is and allow it to help me see what it is that I need to do for myself. Maybe
Yeah.
I actually need to rest more and let go of the idea that I have to do. And maybe I just need to rest,
And
right?
be with where you are,
Be
with
with
the
it.
commitment to where you're headed. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, it's not a forever thing, right? That's why I love this too shall pass, because
Mm.
even if it feels horrendous in that moment, it's just a moment. And if we can just neither accept it nor reject it, but allow it. And it's sort
Oh,
of,
that's so good.
yeah, just, it's not about rejecting it. It's not about accepting it, but just allowing it.
Yeah.
It's like just allowing the weather to be what the weather is today, even if I don't like it.
Yeah. And what about guilt? So let's just dive right in, because you're really teaching and standing for people connecting to who they really are. And guilt is something that definitely gets in the way of that. So talk to us about guilt.
Yeah. Whew. Guilt is an inherited program. Okay. And most of us have inherited it. It seems to be the one program that has been predominant on the planet. So we've all inherited through ancestral patterning, right? And so and a lot of the religious teachings on the planet and reinforce this idea that you are a sinner, or you're incomplete somehow. That you're never going to be good enough, right? So there's a lot of that on the planet, and we come up against it. And so it's funny because we can either internalize that. I call them, there's internalizers. I'm an internalizer. I always feel crappy, I used to, at least, always beat myself up, right, with my guilt. And then there's like externalizers. They feel like crap inside, but they blame everybody else.
Yeah.
So, either way, it's not a good thing. It's not a good feeling. So guilt, it will show up in so many funky ways, right? It'll influence our decision making way more than we realize. Like, and of course, the word should is, the minute you hear that word in your mind or you're saying it, that's guilt speaking. It's like, there's your guilt talking right there. Oh, I should call my mom today. I should, eat better. I should take a walk. It's like, we've got to reframe that thinking and that word to, not I should, but wouldn't it be nice if, or I wonder what would be best for me in this moment, instead of this feeling like I should, I should, I should. But guilt can really, like, it'll really wreak havoc on your digestive system. Where I see it kind of in the body a lot is the lower centers. The lower body centers are the
Mm.
solar plexus, our stomach, and then that, even below that is shame. Like the shame kind of lives in that second chakra area. But and then guilt can also affect the heart big time too. It just depends. So it's just such a toxic emotion, and it's an inherited pattern. And as you start to realize, if you're feeling guilty for anything, any reason, like, it's not even the truth of who you are. Okay. We think that sometimes these emotions and feelings we have are us, like, our, oh, it's a part of me. It must be, I have to get rid of this. It's more like, think of it as a program you inherited that needs to be deleted from your hard drive. Okay. It needs to go. It's just, and so, but it's not the truth of who you are. The truth of who we are is so incredible. It's so beautiful. We're pure love hanging out in these physical forms,
Yeah.
and with all these inherited programs thinking we're this, that, and the other thing, and we're just forgetting the truth. So it's about stripping it away.
And then I hear clients, people in my personal life as well, talking about guilt around being happy when those they love are struggling. Can you speak to that?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Feeling guilty. That's a mindset idea that I'm going to take a minute to reflect on that a little bit. Feeling guilty when others are happy.
Feeling guilty when you're happy and others aren't.
Oh, feeling guilty when you're happy and others aren't. Yeah. That's a fear of being yourself. That's a fear of being judged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, it's like, well, if I really am who if I just be who I am right now, and if I'm happy, but others aren't, or if others are suffering, oh, maybe I shouldn't feel good, like you're doing them a service or something. That's part of that self-sacrifice thought or program. And again, it's just something we've inherited that's just not helpful, and it's not going to feel good.
So, can you take us through a healing where we break up with self sacrifice and guilt and get to connect to who we really are?
Yeah.
Please. Thank you.
All
Let's
right.
go. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, whew, we're going to take a moment, and I'm probably going to close my eyes because that's easier for me. But first, we're just going to take a moment and just breathe and relax, and just become aware of your body. Become aware of just whatever is happening in your body right now. Become aware of whether your body feels heavy or light, whether you're cool or warm. Can even become aware of your breath, whether it's fast or slow. It's always bringing the awareness first to the body and just going deeper. Feel down into your belly and your thighs. Becoming aware also of a sense of stillness, a sense of stillness and purity. Becoming aware also that there's this incredible spark of life, this vital force within you, and it's pulsing, it's alive. It's like your blood pumping. And this vital force, all it wants to do is take care of you. All it's ever wanted to do is take care of you. Start to realize that this thing called you, this body apparatus, and this vital force is deeply devoted to you and your healing. And feel that coursing through you. And just allowing that energy, that frequency to amplify. Letting it grow stronger within you. And allowing whatever is here for you today, whether it's a physical ailment, a feeling you don't like, a mindset you wish to change, patterns or beliefs that just annoy you, whatever it is that's present. Maybe it's just a really uncomfortable feeling in your body. Just allow that to be here, neither accepting nor rejecting it. And just welcoming the vital force within you to just purify that. So we're just switching on everyone's self-healing ability. And since we're kind of talking about guilt and the ideas of self-sacrifice, let's go there for a moment and just notice all the ways in which guilt or self-sacrifice has been running the show in your life. Maybe with your family relationships, doing things for your family members, even if you don't want to or feel like it. Doing things because you feel like you should or you have to. It can be about taking care of others or even yourself or even your business, depending on what kind of business you're in. Feeling like you should do certain things in order to be successful. We've just been programmed by the world. Do this and you'll be fine. But what if you just allow that vital force within you to instruct you, to show you? And it's okay if people give advice. You don't have to accept it. Everyone can give advice, but it's always about re-centering and checking in with yourself on what is really true for you, right? Just because this person's vegetarian diet works for them, it may not work for you. So it's really about allowing you to honor yourself. Honor yourself. Allow yourself. Oh, and one other thing I want to say. If you have illness or some kind of physical disability, you haven't done anything wrong. You're not a screw up. It's okay. So just allowing pure love to be present. And purity. The purity of your being. The essence of your divine spark that knows no limitations. That loves you perfectly as you are. That doesn't even compute what guilt is, has no understanding of that. That's, again, an inherited thought or idea or program. It's not you. And just allowing that to transmute, to purify, to just blow up and go away. So I'm also a physical empath, and I'm kind of feeling a lot of energy just kind of moving out. Feels like a big crescendo, there was like a wave came and then crashed, and now we're in the aftermath, but the aftermath is really beautiful. So yeah, thank you. That was, it just moved me very deeply.
Jennifer, that was gorgeous. It moved me in a profound way as well. And if we can all remember that the aftermath can be beautiful and just hold steady in our faith that the circumstances, the symptoms, the suffering, it doesn't define us. It's there, and it's in those moments where it's critical that we connect to who we really are. And we've got access to that in every moment. And to be still and to connect to the truth of what's real for you, what's right for you in any moment you're in, but especially in moments of suffering. That's a possibility that my wish today is that you can take with you into your lives, into your families, into your workplaces. And Jennifer, what a gift you are to the world, to us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
What final thoughts do you have for us today?
Be who you are. Just unapologetically. Don't censor yourself. Don't try to please people. Don't try to make yourself better in some way, right? You are enough, even if you don't think you are. Just really allow yourself to be, and just keep coming back to you, keep coming back to your body and the innate wisdom that's part of who you are. I know it's hard sometimes, we can feel separate from that, especially when you feel sick, and that's okay. It's still there, it's still within us. And that source of all things is with everybody. It's taking care of everyone. No one gets left out.
Yeah, and your inner healer has never left and won't ever leave. And Jennifer, I also love what you said about, we're not causing the disease, whatever way that's showing up. And we can't necessarily heal it either, but we can connect to our inner healer that knows.
Yeah. It's just, it could be teaching you something, in your life, even if it's not welcomed. Depression taught me a lot of things. It actually, I think for me, depression made me seek the truth about God or love, just spirit. It just put me deeper into my spiritual path, because I just thought this can't, I, I didn't want to go on if it was like if that's what life was going to be, which I knew it wasn't meant to be that way.
Thank you for sharing that. When I was pregnant with cancer, in my journey, had basically a spiritual crisis and began to question everything.
Mm.
And I don't know if anything else would have given me access to who I really wanted to be, if I got to
Mm-hmm.
live how I really wanted to live, if I got to live. And anyone in tremendous suffering today, just consider it's the gateway, it's the bridge to life as you want to live it. So just hang in there a little longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because everyone's path is different and their journeys. And I will say, we all experience trauma. I mean, just being on this planet is pretty traumatic right now. But trauma, the way trauma can show up with people, it's like it can create a break somewhere in somebody's system, right? Trauma can create a break in your nervous system somewhere, and then it kind of that can open a door for a pathogen to come in, right? And we don't know that, so that's why I'm saying don't beat yourself up, right? It can happen without even realizing, oh, that thing that happened 20 years ago is what kind of allowed this, maybe a pathogen to come in, or whatever. um, it could be just having been exposed to some harsh chemicals. It's just, we don't know, but the answers will come when you need them.
Jennifer, how do people get in touch with you? And tell them about your incredibly generous gift, please.
Oh, sure. My website is jennifernortonhealing.com, and you can, under the services, click appointments, and I offer a free consultation to anyone who is thinking about working with me, because I really um, want to make sure that we both feel like we're in alignment to work together, and that's not always the case. So anyway, I think a free consultation is a great thing for both of us. So I do offer that. And if you're looking for some inspiration, I always post at least once a week on Instagram, Jennifer Norton Healing, and sometimes Facebook, Jennifer Norton Intuitive Healing.
Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, everyone. And welcome to Life Beyond Self Sacrifice.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.